So, hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. I am Zybko. I'm one of our customer success advocates. So I'm sure I've talked to many of you here at Daxko. So just a heads up that this probably won't take the whole hour allotted. So we'll leave plenty of time for questions and comments and all that good stuff. And also we are recording this webinar. So if you feel that this would be really helpful for some of your coworkers or anything like that, we'll send it out to y'all later, so you will get that. So this webinar is going to be about credit card processing and the role that Spectrum plays within that. It's a pretty common misconception that we actually process your members' credit cards, and we get many questions about this. So if you take away one thing in this session today, I hope it's that though we play that critical part in the chain, Spectrum does not actually process your credit cards. So today I'll run through exactly how that process works, the best practices, if something is to go wrong or you can't process credit cards or something like that. And if you're thinking about changing your credit card processor, what steps you need to do and what you need to get from us in order to get that done. So I'm sure many of y'all are asking, why is this important to me? Just because, even though we don't play that role, there is some chains that you have to set up. So it's not only important to know this process to better serve your customers, but then you know exactly how your money gets to your bank account. So this can cut down on time searching for transactions, or if you do run into a problem processing credit cards, you'll be able to get that resolved as quickly as possible. So let's get started with how it works. So the first thing that happens is either you swipe a credit card or you press process in end-of-month billing or in periodic billing. From there, Spectrum sends off that transaction and all that information to Verifone's payment gateway called Payware Connect. So this gateway is where all the transaction information is stored, and I'm sure many of you have seen that before. Excuse me. And so they store all the information or that centerpiece to send off that information. So once they gather all of that information, they'll forward it to your credit card processor. And that processor will go ahead and look up all of that transaction information on that issuing member's bank account. From there, the transaction is forwarded to that bank. The bank then verifies all of that information is correct and determines if, the member has enough funds to approve the transaction and all that good stuff. And once it is approved or declined, the message is passed back down through the chain, through the gateway, and then back into Spectrum. If the card is approved, the receipt will print, transaction is saved, but if it is declined, you'll get that decline code either in point of sale or on that decline report in end of month billing and that post billing. So just to kind of go over what exactly a credit card processor is, these are the ones that we integrate with. So Chase Payment Tech, Elevon, First Data, Global Payments East, TSYS, and then for our Canadian clients, Bambora. So these are the only ones that we integrate with. So I really suggest, if you don't know who your credit card processor is, to maybe talk to your accounting department or something like that to figure out who you're paying processing fees to, so that way you can form a relationship with your credit card processor. So we really feel it's important that you have your merchant numbers, who's in charge of that account, what processing fees you're paying, all that good stuff, so that way you know where your money's passing through. So that way, if you do run into an issue, you have someone to contact there. And then here's what the Payware Connect portal sign-in looks like. So I'm sure many of y'all have seen this. And if you haven't, your accounting department may have the logins for these. And if not, go ahead and let us know, and we'd be happy to help you figure out that username and reset your password. And then you'll need you'll need to figure out your merchant codes, which will be found on your statement from your credit card processor. So whoever pays the bills in your facility might have that statement, or maybe your accounting department or something like that. So from this portal, you are able to look up transactions, look at settled batches, look at unsettled batches, So this is a really great place to, track down transactions. If, I'm not finding this one transaction in Spectrum, let me see if it passed through the Verifone Payware Connect portal. So I've looked through here with customers to ensure that, it went through Spectrum, but we didn't get it from our credit card processor, where to go. So if we go and look in this Payware Connect portal and it is in there, the best place next to search is with your credit card processor to see if that transaction is held up for any reason. So let's move on to some of the best practices. So we highly suggest that you become familiar with your credit card processor. They should be your friend. So that way, if something goes wrong and we need to get on a conference call with you and with them, that we're able to get it settled as quickly as possible. So if you run into an issue with credit cards not processing, go ahead and take a look at what that error message is. So whether that be in point of sale or in your end of month decline report, if that error code is in all capital letters, it comes straight from your credit card processor. So they are going to be the ones who would be able to resolve that as quickly as possible. So we don't have access to those settings, unfortunately, but we would be happy to help if you get stuck with them or anything like that. Excuse me. All right. And then one common error that a lot of people will get is a 402 term not active. That is going to be in all capital letters. The best place to reach out with something like that is your credit card processor. And we are more than happy to jump on that call with you if you have any trouble or anything like that. But they're going to be the best ones to resolve the issue as quickly as possible so you can keep billing your members and all that good stuff. So if you are going to give your processor a call, you will need a little bit of information. So you will need your merchant numbers from your credit card processor, which can be found on your statement, along with usually the support numbers for that. My goodness, sorry. So y'all will be able to grab that information and, reach out to them and say, hey, I'm not able to process credit cards on this merchant number. Can you help me out? Awesome. And so lastly, if you're thinking about changing credit card processors, let us know. So again, here is the list of those we do integrate with is Chase Payment Tech, Elavon, First Data, Global Payments East, and TSYS. So if you are thinking about switching credit card processors, what you will need to do is reach out to us for a processor change worksheet. And so this is pretty similar to a VAR sheet, VAR. This will be given to you by your new credit card processor once you sign up with them. The only difference is this processor change worksheet asks for just a little more information to ensure that we get your account set up correctly. So you will need to work with that new credit card processor to fill out that processor change worksheet with the information from your VAR sheet. And so you're able to email us, call us, or even chat us with our new live chat feature to get that processor worksheet. You'll need a new sheet for every account that you set up. So for your end of month, your point of sale, and your online services account, if you do have that with us. Okay, and so I have provided here some of the support numbers for the processors. So as you can see, Chase, Elavon, First Data, Global Payments East, and TSYS. So I'm going to give y'all just a couple minutes to kind of regroup from that and see if y'all have any questions and maybe even grab some of these numbers if you need it, okay? So we're getting ready to wrap up here. So if you have any questions, go ahead and toss them in that Q&A section, and I would be more than happy to answer those. So I know some of that was a little quick. So if you do have any questions, let us know. In the next page I'm going to pull up is our support numbers here at Daxko Spectrum. So that way, if y'all do need to get in touch with us in the future, if you think of a question later, we'd be more than happy to answer those. Yeah, so there was a question about how we, smooth out this process. So the role that we play is we gather all of your credit card information and store that. So the way we would, help smooth this process is if you are having trouble and, you're calling your credit card processor and you're not finding exactly what's going wrong, we are more than happy to help search your Payware Connect portal with you and see if you're missing anything or if we're missing anything, and we kind of just compare the information that we can gather, and we're more than happy to jump on a conference call with you, your credit card processor, and then it would be us. So we cannot speak to your credit card processor on your behalf without you, just so that way we don't, your information stays safe. All right, and I will stay on this webinar for just a few more minutes in case you think of any other questions, and just let us know. So there is a question about that. Currently, someone uses a specific processor, and they're wondering how that processor gets determined. So that is something that is an internal decision within your facility. So maybe, the other processors were not a good fit, and that's the reason that First Data was chosen for you. We do not pick who your credit card processor is, but so that's why we offer those few different options so y'all can make that decision internally. All right, so we're gonna wrap up now. So if you guys have any further questions, let us know, and we'd be happy to help you out, okay? Y'all have a great day. Thank you so much for joining us.